Welcome to Hashtag with Navguzi Chwanuka. This is a place where we help you unravel social constructs, discuss self-development in line with mental health, emotional well-being, and everything in between that directly or indirectly affects us in the millennial world around us. If you're hearing my voice for the first time and are the kind of person who is not scared of being a better version of yourself even if it requires you to contradict who you were 24 hours ago, consider this your virtual home. I'm your host, Navguzi Chwanuka, and I cannot wait to engage with you in the various conversations. For this 97th episode, our guest is none other than Nandala Mathew. Mathew is one of the first Ugandan professional dancers I got to know. And forget the side gigs that you do with your talent. Nandala, as you will hear in the conversation, knew from the get-go that being a dancer was or is the dream to chess. And like any dedicated achiever, he pursued nothing else other than that. In this episode, Nandala re-emphasizes our 2023 theme of being intentional like never before. If you're the kind of person who acknowledges the fact that progress is not always a straight curve, sit tight. If anything resonates with you during our conversation, share with us on social media with the hashtag #HTNKInStation. Here's Monitor Yourself. Nandala Mathew, welcome to Hashtag with Navguzi Chwanuka.
Yo, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here and can't wait to see where this heads to.
I'm honored. Do you know what this means?
I mean, I'm also happy to be here in meeting you for the first time. And I'm excited. I am excited.
You are excited?
Yeah, I'm excited.
I was about to ask you what you feel based on the emotional wheel that I just shared with you. What is it exactly that you feel? Then you're talking about excitement. Should we go with that?
Excitement, I feel cheerful. You know, when I look at this, I feel cheerful. It's a good mood today. I woke up knowing that we are doing this. So it's like I have to, let me do it for once and for all. And, so I feel cheerful, Can't wait to see what I share with you.
Thank you so much for honoring the invite.
You are most welcome.
Let me tell you, when I sent you the email, because I got the email from your Facebook page, and our culture, people don't really follow up on emails. So I was like, okay, I've sent him the email in the morning. I'll be polite enough, call him.
Yeah.
And hey, I sent you an email. Did you see it? Only to be shocked. Because when I picked up my phone, I was like, I think 8 a.m. is a better timing. Polite enough to reach out to someone over the weekend.
Yeah.
And when I picked up my phone, I was seeing a response on email. I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Can you talk about this culture? What is it that makes you very responsive to emails? Because people prefer WhatsApp and anything social media. I feel like emails are old age. And at some point I was like, could he be influenced by the kinds of people he's working with?
Yeah. Oh, well, I am this person who is in all categories. Like, I know people, there's a certain class of people that still want to go with emails. And actually, those are even more professional, WhatsApp is just, having such a conversation on WhatsApp, I feel like it's not the right place, So I always check my emails, I check my WhatsApp, because everything surrounding my work has been done by, on social media, So I always check my social media accounts, my Messenger, my Instagram DMs, my WhatsApp. I'm always there because I mostly work online. All the connects that I have, they have been from, online. Yeah.
What did you want to be growing up?
Well, I love dance so much, and it's been right now I even feel like God is showing off, because it's like I'm living the dream already, It's just that, we keep wanting more and more. So I still feel like I still have a lot to do, but to be honest, I'm thankful to God that all the things that I dreamt about. I wanted to be an international choreographer, and it already happened. Yes. I mean, those days when we had just started, we used to look at the likes of Jabberwockies, if you ever watched America's Best Dance Crew. Like, I would see those guys performing, and I'm taking a picture of myself on that stage, Because it has been that spirit of wanting to learn more and more that has gotten me to all these other spaces, Because one thing I know is that they say, "Entuyotezidimba,"
Are you serious?
Yeah. Like
new.
I worked for
Matthew,
it.
That's new. They usually say a kumbi or a kalam. I've not heard of that.
No, the other thing is into yotezidi imba. When you sweat for something, because I would wake up and start doing practice without knowing what I am going to do, But because I have this much love for, it's like there's no sweat that goes unnoticed. I think God is always watching and knows that, okay, this person has really given his best to this. And then he keeps on unlocking doors and, you keep going. If you keep with the same spirit, you will find yourself in places that you never imagined you would. Just like the way I'm feeling right now. I mean, I am a dancer who is from not an okay background, like I have been hustling on the street, and I don't mean like I stayed on the street, but I mean it's been a hustle,
Right.
But I have been able to achieve all these things. I've gone to the biggest dance studios. I've met the best choreographers in the world. And I feel like right now I'm living my dream, and I would really want to contribute to the coming generation, and also because there's a lot of, if to make it out of Uganda, you really have to be on top of your game, to be having workshops all over, you have to be on top of your game. So
that's the thing. I feel like there is something in you that I see that is not really common with the other dancers that I might be seeing, or maybe it's a little bit not so much an industry that has been exploited by people that may have interest in dancing. But then I see you come up with a choreography, and there are challenges globally.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who is this guy again?
Yeah.
Can you take us through how you got to that? Oh my God, do you know that we're having this conversation and you didn't introduce yourself?
Oh, wow. Oh, yes. Rewind. Chicken. Okay, so, I am Nandala Mathew, dancer, choreographer, performing artist, and a dad. From Uganda. Yeah. The rest we'll find out as we go forward, but basically that's it for now. Yeah.
Right. So when you look at yourself as the person who is living your dream right now, at what point did you start having this dream? Was it from ABDC, or even before ABDC, you had an interest in dance and you felt like this is what I want to be in the future? And why I'm really asking you this question is because when you look at what we are molded into as children, we're given options either to be a doctor, an accountant, those kinds, that. Dance is a rarity. You cannot hear anyone encouraging their children
to be dancers.
Hey, my God, go ahead. Go and dance with a willow longomba.
Yeah.
Is that a dream that you've had from childhood?
Yes, this is, like in my family, surprisingly, I'm the only person who has like a dance background in my family, like no one else is really interested in it. My brothers, my sisters. So I was just,
even
I would say the chosen one. No one was dancing. No one. Yeah, I mean, but the time I was growing up, my dad used to, those days in the 90s, he was a fan of Congolese music. At that time we had the likes of Pepe Kale, Kanda Bongo Man, Olivia Ngoma, So he used to play a lot of that music. So that's actually the dance style that I started with. And I was just learning from TV, I was just a kid. I have this funny story. Oh my God, like there was a time I was young, like this is how much I loved dancing, that in our neighborhood, we had someone, he was like an old person who has passed out, and we go there, they play music, people are there trying, they ignore, and me, I'm dancing, and people still enjoyed it, like they all covered me up, and I'm like, what is a funeral? I'm turning it into a party or something.
Well, we could take it as a celebration of that.
Exactly, yeah, because that was, when I remember it now, I'm like, what was I doing? Oh my God, people are mourning and I am dancing, But maybe I'm glad I put some smiles on people's faces and, who were so like sorrowful and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
seeing you going through all these stages as a child and then going to teenage. Career-wise, is there any shift that you might have experienced feeling like, okay, maybe I can do this and also dance on the side?
I don't know. Like the time it's like me, even up to date, like the only thing I think about is dance. Like even when there's when I tried singing.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, I tried singing and I used to love the guitar. Actually, even in my choreographies, when I'm choreographing a song, like songs with guitar catch me. It's like I love the feeling the guitar gives me. You know, it's very sweet. So it used to be my favorite. I started learning. I was at church. You know, we had a Baptist church, and we used to have they were like youth gatherings. You know, we called it crossover. You know, we'd go there, play games, and and all that. Share a lot. You know, like I grew up in that kind of community too. So with other students from different schools. So that's where I started learning guitar. It was a Baptist church in Imbara. You know, that's where I grew up. And I used to love the guitar so much. Yes, I tried singing for some time, but then after I went back to dance because there's a time I reached, I'm like, okay, I need to focus on one thing, you know. I know we have people
How old were you at that time?
That time I was in my, I was in teens, you know, like maybe...
And you're already deciding that you had to focus on one thing.
Yes.
Wow.
I know like there is when I would make a shift, but then at the end of the day, I feel like I always would come back to dance. I'm like, this is the thing I know best. This is the thing that lights up my soul. So I want to stick to it, you know. And then that's when, because I even had a group in Imbara. Mm-hmm. Most of the people that I started this with, everyone was trying to find another career, you know. As they were older than me.
Is that Edu?
No. That was before I made IDU. This was called Our True Dancers. You know, it was a popular dance group in Imbara. And all these guys were older than me. Like I met them, you know, but I think my drive was so much like the spirit I had in me. All of them channeled and, you know, they started working in different places. But me, I was like, I need to stick to this. So I became like a solo dancer for some time before I met IDU. We actually met IDU. I met them in a competition, Hot Steps, in Imbara. They were staying in Kasese. So they traveled from Kasese to Imbara because the audition was only in Imbara, in Kampala, in Masaka, or something of the sort. Yeah, if you ever heard of that.
I knew Hot Steps, but I didn't follow it up so much.
Oh, really? It was a thing. I mean, if you are my age, like every time, you know, it's 8 p.m., we know we have to be on NTV. And
I didn't get to watch it a lot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it was, you know, that's how I met them.
Was there a moment when your parents sat you down and they were like, my son, our son, please, what is this that you're doing?
So now, unfortunately, growing up, I lost my mom when I was in my primary 7. I remember that day we were going to do to fill the Form X. We call it Form X. So I went from school, go back home, and she was in the hospital for some days.
What is Form X?
These are forms we used to fill before you go to do the national exams.
They're called X?
It's a form. Uh-huh. Like, I think here you're declaring your name and da-da-da-da. It's a form that we used to fill before doing, what was it
PLE.
Called at that time? PLE, before doing PLE. Yeah, we had that.
Form X?
Yeah, Form X.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember that day. So we had that time when you're going close to doing the exams, you fill that form. So that day I was filling the form, then going back home. Like my mom was already in the hospital. Mm-hmm. So they told me, mom has passed on. And da-da-da. So unfortunately, I didn't really grow up with, you know, that mother care.
Towards the exams?
Yeah, towards the exams. You never filled it?
No. Now I'm looking at your loss with you going into the national exam.
Yeah.
I did fill the form, but I didn't know it had a name.
Yeah, it was.
Or maybe
I
forgot.
I mean, you forgot. That's a long
Form
time
X
ago.
Sounds so.
I think the reason why I remember it is because I know that is the day my mom passed on. Like when I went back home, I was from school, and they were telling me, "Okay, we have bad news. Mama has passed on." And So that stuck in my head. So I still remember, that form.
That's a lot on a child.
Yeah. So
how were you? Do you remember anything that you might have experienced, like some sort of confusion? Of course, when we talk about grief, it has the different stages of denial and anger and all those things.
I tried to. Actually, I didn't even cry that first time, but I was, because I'm this person who likes holding on to things, and like I think there's a way it affected me, but I couldn't see. At that time I was a kid, but I know I went that whole time I didn't cry, and when I went back in bed, like it was at night, I just saw tears flowing,
That very night.
Yeah. That very night I was feeling, so sad, and the fact that I was a kid, like I was confused, of course. I didn't know how to take that in, but I loved my mom so much. And so unfortunately I didn't get that chance to, to have that mother love. It was for a short while. Mm-hmm. And then my dad, so I grew up with my dad after that. And the one thing he's also, he passed on, unfortunately, in 2020. Yeah, that's the time of COVID.
Oh, the COVID.
Yeah, time of COVID. But he gave me the freedom to do what I wanted. That's the one, that's why I thank him so much, because from our time, having a parent, leave you, go do whatever you want, that was that's why I thank him so much, because if it was maybe somebody else, they wouldn't want, some people might even disown you because you're not doing what they want you to do. But he also noticed that I loved dance so much, and he supported me. Even the whole time I left Mbara and went to Kasese, he, we just talk on phone, but he was okay with me. Like I tried to find my way out after my, my senior six, the high school. That's when I started now going so deep into dance and trying to look for opportunities here and here, looking for people to team up with. And so I really thank him for that. It's not like he supported me with money or for me to go in classes, but he just let me do what I wanted.
Without castigating you.
So it was that type of,
You've talked about 2020 as the year in which your father passed on.
Yeah.
And I remember you going through, I don't know how to call it, but I would term it as an emotional, drain or turmoil. Would you love to speak on that?
Oh, wow. There's so much to say.
Is it something that came from him passing on?
No, actually, the time this was like a terrible time, The time he passed on, I was also admitted in the hospital.
Oh.
Yes. So I remember the last call that I had with him. I was, I was hallucinating and seeing all these things that were not there, and getting information that is, So I remember we talked to him. He really tried so much. At that time, he wanted me to come back with my family. He even sent us some money because the situation was so bad on my end. I had spent so much money, and the year had just started. I wanted to get myself back up. I have a kid, I have a girlfriend. We done. There when you're renting, they want their money, whether what or what. Like you have to pay at the end of the month, and we barely even had. So he knew what I was going through. Like a parent, I think there's something that speaks to them, and they know that you are not okay.
Yeah.
He also sent me some money during that time because I had nothing. That was the worst year ever, So I was in the hospital the time he passed on, but they didn't tell me. They told me till, the doctors told my family that you can't tell him this news. It was going to worsen his situation because I was already admitted. I was depressed. I'd used some drugs as well, I wasn't okay. I wasn't there. That was, the worst time.
When you talk about the usage of drugs, was it for medication, or do we look at it as something that was helping you to escape the mess that you're experiencing?
Exactly that. I actually never used to be a person who uses drugs, but, certain situations get you in some spaces that you didn't expect, Actually, that was all still the same time that I was It's time of COVID. So, it started off, they started locking everything down in Feb. Yeah, so that time we're all staying home, everyone is trying to look like getting an opportunity to work during that time. Then you were so lucky to have that. But I didn't have it. But then until there was a theater show that was looking for dancers. It was called Queen of the Night. It was a huge show that we were doing. And, they called me up, they made an audition, and they selected me. It was still that time of course, that time I was trying to look for opportunities here and there because no one was working. People were home, and you have to feed, you have to, live life,
Yeah.
But I had no option. I just spent on my visa, and it was expensive. So if a year is starting and you're like, okay, now I've spent everything, we are going to start afresh. Because I just brought my family there in 2019. It was a couple of months, and then we went into COVID.
Right.
So that time I left my family, we were in Guangzhou, and I went to Beijing. So when I went to Beijing, I found there were Cubans and Russians and Americans that I was the only black person on the team. But I wasn't okay, I was like a dance machine. You know what? A dance machine is someone who is doing now dance for money, but it's not coming from the heart. Like, you know what I mean? So I had become that. I was there because I had no option. I needed the money. I had nothing to do. So now when I stayed with this guy, he's a friend from Cuba. He used to smoke. He loved smoking and all of that. I don't know if you also noticed that I wasn't okay because I had these mood swings and I liked being alone. I was even smoking cigarettes. I was drinking alcohol and all of these things because even when we would go for rehearsals, like I was so lazy, like I don't even want to dance. I want to I'm just here because I want to just get money and support my family because a lot was running on my head, I was this side, my family is in Guangzhou. My girlfriend is not working, we have a baby, it's COVID.
You have to fix it.
You have to fix it, you know what I mean? So
Right.
all of that pressure was on me. But when I started smoking, I actually used to, for me to have become a habit because it would give me, I never used to sleep well. But whenever I would smoke, I would get appetite for food. Actually, I was looking at it more like it was helping me eat and sleep. Because when I'm not, when I was sober, I would have difficulties sleeping. But when I smoke, I feel tired, So I started getting hooked on this drug. It was called hashish.
Okay. It's best there, or is it
Hashish, I think it is everywhere. There's so many drugs that I also don't know. I hear this type of...
Is hashish?
Hashish.
Okay.
Hashish.
Okay. Is hashish the name for it
For the drug,
globally, or is it the Chinese name?
No. I don't think it's a Chinese name. Hashish, I think that's how they use it everywhere.
I've never heard of it.
You've never heard of it?
I've heard of marijuana, cocaine.
Yeah, so that one was called hashish. It's more like weed. Anyway, I don't even know how I was doing it. I don't even know how to differentiate these drugs. No, I don't really have that much experience in them.
Because you were new to it.
Yeah, I was new to it. And the problem with me, when I got hooked, I started using it a lot. I'm that person who can be too much onto something. And in the process, it made me feel good. And even when I was going for dance classes, there's a way it would give me a vibe. Every time I'd started going to classes when I'm high, because it would give me the energy and, concentrate on that. Because when I dance, I would feel so good,
Right.
That's what we used to do. When we smoke, he plays music. There was when we would even go out in the night, 3 a.m. We go in a park.
During COVID?
This was all during that time of COVID, yes. That was in Beijing, they had eased the restrictions at that time in April. It started in Feb, then by April, some places had started opening up. So I was there in April, May, June, and until August. August is when I had I went off, Yeah.
It was August?
Yeah, it was in August. I remember that night it was 26th. I was even supposed to travel to Shanghai, another city. to have a class. But then that very night is when I got off. Like,
because you made a series of posts that kept following themselves, and the one that still kept in my head was when I think your post was, they want to take me, but they won't take me anywhere. And what is going on? Like, what is happening? Is this a racial problem? What is going on? Because now when you took up to Facebook and you're sharing I don't know how many posts
oh my God, it was
I remember
so many.
them following themselves.
Yeah.
What could have happened? Did you feel like people on social media may show up, or was it a channel for you to express what you were feeling in that time?
Yeah, at that time I was hallucinating. I wasn't myself. So I was like, I was creating my own reality. Like every time there's something that would come to me, and immediately I'm starting to think in a very different pattern. So I think maybe because of some of the things that we feed our subconscious, there's a way it stays in there. So when you're in this state, you start like information. I don't know where I was getting all these things, but I was feeling insecure. I felt like the people around me, even Vero herself, I told her that, that's my girlfriend. I told her that you were not right. You're trying to do that.
Wow.
So I was looking at everyone as an enemy. And the only person I still had a spot for was my son, Dejan. So I was feeling that all these things that I was typing, that's why I was feeling unsafe, because that very night my phone stopped working, like it got faulty, so I wasn't on the phone. But in me, I felt like someone is after me, they're trying to kill me or something of the sort. So the only thing I had was my laptop, and the only access I had was on Facebook. So I just went on Facebook, I was feeling I'd never done such a thing. It was the very first time. So I started writing things that were coming in my head, and like, I'm not safe, I need help, they're after me, and people got concerned.
Because what, when you shared those posts, it was also in that same period. I think there were families in China that were having trouble probably with payment of rent, and they were being pushed out of the houses, and these videos were online. So in my mind, I had concluded that was the problem.
So this incident I wasn't chased out of the house, because everyone has their own houses and how people are living in China. There are some people maybe who are in overstay. And anyway, I know that was a very sensitive conversation. I don't know what exactly happened to those black guys in that community that ended up on the streets. But with the information I was getting, I heard that maybe these are some of the people that were not living in China legally. And right now, it's like they were following up every foreigner where they stay.
Oh, in that period?
Yeah, in that period. Actually, it really worked for the Chinese government. I think there is even people they wanted to get rid of, but it is a very huge operation starting to chase after everyone. But right now is the time they were collecting information of everyone that is staying in China. So I guess those that maybe ran out of houses were feeling insecure, because it's China, and you might, if they find you in wrong, you might end up in prison. And that's what I thought. But I don't want to conclude that everyone was staying. Maybe some were not staying illegally, but then maybe they just got unlucky and they chased them out of the house. They did not. They just came and did tests. I know that period they closed us in for like a week. It was supposed to be 2 weeks. They were like, that's the unfair thing that I remember, that I can, I was a witness on that it's only black people. They reached the time and like, we are closing these people in. Maybe they thought we were like super spreaders.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's like it was affecting their people, and some were losing their lives, but nothing was happening to the black people.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? So I think they felt like there is something. These guys can, they are like super spreaders, but the COVID is not working on them. You know what I mean? So that's why they put only us in. That was only in Guangzhou. So it went everywhere, and after like a week, we were supposed to spend. They even came and put like detectors on the door. If you open it, the police will know. So we were. Oh
my goodness!
Yes, they put.
That did not reach the news.
Are you sure?
I don't know. Maybe I didn't just see it.
Yeah, it was there. They put detectors on our doors. Everyone who was closed in, and they would write a big note: "Do not you don't enter this house."
No way.
Yes, it was that bad. So we were in there, closed in. Nobody would. If you want something, you're going to call management of like the apartments you stay in, and they go buy you the food and they bring you in, but you don't take a step out of the house. That's how bad it was. If it was all of us, if it was also the child, that would have been fine. But then this really showed that we were being segregated. You know what I mean? Like it was only the black people. You can't step out. Everything. If you want something, give the money to the management. They will go buy whatever it is you want. They bring it back in. But you stay there for 2 weeks. So it went all around. But after a week, they came with flowers and they're trying to show they're friendly. It's because, there's a way they decide to do their things, like Chinese, Sometimes they won't care, but they saw they went a little extra. And then people were fighting back, looking for help online and all of that. Yeah.
So do we get to look at that as something that could have triggered you? Did that contribute to it?
I think there was so many. Me, myself, even before COVID, I think I had started getting environmental stress. And even before, I was already depressed. And, it's... And us, there's a way we don't really follow up on ourselves, because sometimes you have to know how you feel or maybe know how to, whatever it is that you are trying to get out of, you have to you have to study yourself, but we don't do that a lot. Mm-hmm. We as Africans, you feel like, okay, maybe it's a bad time. I would stay in bed the whole time. Like I knew it's like the time I got sick was hitting the rock bottom. Because I was there with my family, I had brought my family. China can be stressing sometimes, especially when because I was a freelancer, so I was also living like a Chinese. So that pressure, I have a family, and I just was this person who wanted to stay with my kid. I want him to grow around me. I don't want to be that distant father, Mm-hmm. So when I made some money and all of that, I was like, I want you guys here. You will find a job and then we take care of our son, Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. And I did that. But when they got there, it's like also the things I had, there was so much going on and they didn't really go out according to plan. So that started stressing me. So my girl was there for like a while and then she wasn't working yet. I couldn't. So I was having that pressure, When you have a family and you're a black guy, it's not like I'm too old, but I'm just this person who can just make a decision and make it want to work. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it didn't go as I wanted because she took a while. Even by the time I got sick, she hadn't gotten what to do. You know what I mean? And so that was so much pressure because the intention was she comes, we get her a job, I am also working, and everything is going to be good. But sometimes things don't go our way, and that's when
it's COVID period.
It's COVID period.
Very unpredictable.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, even before COVID, in 2019 when I brought them, everything was going smoothly until it's like I spent every last penny I had to bring them. And I was going to have, jobs in certain dance schools that wanted to hire me. Like you're like, oh, everything is going to be okay. I'm going to have this job. So like you do everything basing on hope. And you're like, okay, let me spend this money that I have. It's going to come back.
It's an investment.
Yeah, and you know what I mean? Yeah, because I know my sisters also told me, why have you brought them in China? Even some of my friends in China, like, why would you bring your family here? Because everyone is scared to do that. Like, it's quite an expense.
Take them to China, or is it just about expenses?
Exactly, because everyone is there trying to hustle, but and it's not that I was a freelancer. Sometimes you get jobs, sometimes you won't.
Right.
The first time I went to China is we were being taken care of by an agency. There is a house, they give us food, they give us our salary, and when you have shows, they come pick you up from home, they take you to the show, you come back. We were living that life.
Yeah.
But right now I was on my own. You know what I mean?
Did you jump the agency feeling like I need to be on my own?
No, I didn't. Actually, there's something that happened with the agency and it was no more. That's how we came back, actually, before I went back as a solo. Yes, they closed. It was like the biggest agency. They used to manage bands, models, dancers, and all of that. It was life was good. Like the whole time we went there, things were good. But it was an agency that was basically dealing with foreigners. But I think they also had like their dirty work they used to do, like, because in China, getting visas, if you go to a company, that company must be employing you and they're giving you maybe a place to stay, blah, blah, blah. And if you're having this visa, you have to be working in that same province or particular city.
You don't get out.
Yeah, you're not supposed to work anywhere else apart from their work visas are provincial. Like it has to be in that same province that you got it. But when we were doing shows, even outside the cities we're in, we were going all over China. So one day was a bad day, and it all started with a certain team from Ukraine. They went and worked in a city they were not supposed to work in, and the police came after them, and they decided to run. And then that's how everything started crashing down. And this company was stopped. They arrested our bosses. So,
whoa.
Yeah, and then that's when we came back here. But if it was still there, I think we would still be with this agency because they loved us so much. And we were doing a great job, of course. But it's because the police came in and started doing, investigations on the company until they closed it down completely. So that's how we came back. So when I went back, that's when I started teaching. That time I was a performer, we just come and take you. When you're not working, you're free to go to dance studios, hang out with people. It was a good life. I miss those days. That was 2016, 2017.
2017 is when I got to see you.
That time I was already there. Life was good, we were...
Like, I can't even get the image out of my head, the image of your apartment outside.
Yeah.
It was, I think, brown. And there were already spots that you were doing the dances from.
Exactly. Yeah. That time was really so good.
Coming to 2020, let me see, when did you return?
I returned, it was end of 2020. No, 2020, end of, December 28th, I remember that's when I had my flight back.
There was a period when you went into, where did they take you? Was it a rehabilitation center?
In China? Yeah, that was in September. I don't remember the exact date, but it was in September. I was first taken to police, but yeah.
Why? What happened?
It's because the drug I was talking about, I started hallucinating. I became violent. Actually, the day I was in
Wait, the drug made you violent?
Exactly. I was creating my own realities, and I don't know, I would see everyone like an enemy. I was a completely different person. Like how someone might switch from this personality to this violent. It was the first time it happened to me. But I think it was because what triggered it could have been the drug. I was maybe starting to use a lot of it, and I was already going through stuff. Sometimes we are depressed, but we don't even monitor ourselves, or we don't even
even know the words?
Exactly. I have a friend of mine, I won't mention his name, but when I was talking to him, it's like, us in Africans, we don't know depression. It doesn't happen. And I'm like, if we are coming from such a space, then we still have a very big problem if we think that we in Africa, we don't have depression. He said that those are sicknesses of white people.
People hold those narratives. Let me tell you something. Yeah. I was having a conversation with someone before the COVID period.
Yeah.
And he held that kind of school of thought. And he used to shut me up a lot. He was like, stop talking about mental health. Black people, especially black men, we aren't affected by that. And my question to him was, if we are not affected by that, then why is it that we have Botabika?
Exactly. Yeah.
And he kept quiet.
Yeah.
So when COVID came, I was low-key happy. I was like, oh my God, he's going to understand what it means. And he was my target in that period.
So did he?
Oh, he was my target. I kept checking on. He was like, so how are you?
You didn't give up on your argument.
Like, so how are you? And then I think it was 2 weeks into the lockdown, and he was like, I'm, what did he say? Emotionally drained? And in my head, I was like, I was very happy because for me, that was a moment of people need to understand that there are two worlds they exist in. There is an emotional world and the physical world.
Yeah.
And what I wanted, because now why I was even driving this conversation, why I had started this conversation with him, was because he was going out in the bars. Like, you text him 2 a.m. and he's like, I'm in the bar. This is during the week. He has work tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm asking him, so are you okay? are you mentally okay? It's like, don't bring those conversations. Black people are not affected by that.
Oh, wow.
So you get to find that in that period when he had an opportunity to run to the bars and run away from his emotional turmoil, COVID, he doesn't have that.
Yeah.
So definitely you have to deal with your mess.
You have to
whether
deal
you
with it.
like it
Yeah.
or not. So I made it a point. So I talked to him. He managed to come out. But if you ask about mental health, he's ready to talk about it. Like,
Yeah, he knows
thing.
now it's real, right? I think most of the people that never used to take it as a thing, right now they know what it means, because this COVID has changed people's lives, like how people look at life and all of that. You know, like, imagine these are people who have even graduated, but it's still, imagine if a graduate here, like, still thinks that there's nothing like depression, then we have a long way to go. That's why
we don't have the conversations around it.
We don't have, exactly. I'm like, then this system has to be changed, you know. The things that matter are the things we don't give attention, because I feel like if you are not, and so many people are working with mental health issues, but they do not know. No one is talking about it, you know. And this is what, and there's no way you're going to do anything or you're going to succeed at anything before you work on your mental health, because there's a lot. Actually, I feel like we even have a lot that stresses us than the white people that we think these diseases belong to them. It's because for us, the system, you know that the standards of living here is not the same over there. The struggles that we go through, they don't go through them. So I even feel like we are the most affected, but then we do not know about these things and we do not talk about them. We do not encourage people to talk about mental health and make it. We are having all of this diversion, like they give us things like sexualized music videos and all of that. All our attention, this is being promoted more than what really matters to a person's life, you know, because there's a lot that we have to do. But instead of promoting much of this, you should have these talks. People should know that, because it hasn't happened to them and they don't know if they get themselves in a better state, maybe it could even change their lives. But they do not know. No one is talking about it. If you do it, some people will say it's witchcraft, you know.
For everything we don't understand,
it's witchcraft, you know. And now people will start sleeping in churches and doing this. When it is just a small thing, we need to enlighten ourselves. We need to tell people that, hey, there's depression, there's anxiety, there are all these bipolar disorders, ADHD. I mean, there's so many.
There's a lot.
There's a lot, you know. And already, why I even say that I think this is just ignorance. But also, I won't put it on our people, because the people who are supposed to make things, they are not talking about it. And how are they going to access this information? How are they going to have these talks when no one is talking about it? It feels like even the people we put in positions to help out people on these, it's like for them, they're minding their business because they are okay, they are receiving their money, but the many are suffering, or maybe they want us to keep like that. I don't know, you know? But these are things that are really happening and they are changing people's lives. People are breaking up and you don't know, but it's because of stress and all of these things. But if people were sensitized about all these mental health issues, because there's so many, it's too much, like people are living with it. It's like for us, we got used to living with it because we are those people we've grown up in a hard way, you know. So it's like you're constantly attacking life when you forget to live it, but we don't sit and listen to our inner sides and you know, like and try to understand that there is much more to what we think is their reality, you know. We could be better, but people is like are stuck in the matrix, you know. Yeah.
How long did you spend in the rehab in China?
I think it was 4 months. Yeah, 4 months of no phone, no nothing.
No phone?
Yeah, no phone, no... Yeah, like I was in there and I've been in China for a long time, but I failed to learn Chinese because it's kind of complicated for me. So you're in there with people who are only speaking Chinese.
Only?
Yes, even there were very few doctors. Okay, I had a therapist who could speak English fluently. We used to have chats, and also some of the doctors understood that. But you can imagine being in there, you just go from bed, you go to the dining. They were feeding me. Yeah, I was eating a lot that time. When I came back, I had big chicks and all that. But I was in there, even the TV shows they would put there in Chinese. So it wasn't like my place for sure. Like the whole time I was asking the doctors, when am I getting out of here? When am I? But, the therapist was telling me that maybe it's teaching you to be patient. Sometimes we need, 4 months. It was 4 months.
That's a very long time of stillness.
I know, right? Yeah.
Because, it's very hard. We have very many distractions on our devices.
Oh, yes.
Like, even in the period when you're having a conversation with someone, they want to pull up their phone to find out what's happening.
Yeah.
So for you to sit for maybe an hour without a phone, you feel like you're straining yourself
Exactly.
a lot. 4 months?
Yeah, 4 months without a phone. Like, oh, man, and I'm this person who, social media is also, it's good, but it's also bad,
Yeah.
It's like we are trapped into the phone right now. Like, and these are Chinese people, like everywhere, even when they are crossing the road, they're like this. So I think we can't avoid it. Mm-hmm. We are trying to, but some of us, it's like all our work is coming from social media.
Exactly.
So by hook or crook, you have to be there.
Right.
You have to have your phone with you because that's where now.
It's interesting. Your phone is buzzing while we are talking about.
I know, right? You see, let me even remove my data. You know what I mean? So that's me.
Even for us to talk about.
Exactly. I've had friends. Everyone is really trying to have a life outside the phone. It's like we are all drawn in there. We are working for social media, but you have to find a balance and. Social media is supposed to be working for us, not us working for it.
Right.
When you're working for it, you have this much pressure. You're thinking about likes, or today I had a post, so I want more views. People have gone extra to do things. But I don't know if it's just this generation but I feel like we are having a shift. The way we used to live life in the 90s is not. We didn't even know. Yeah, but I feel like we need more of that. Having conversations like this conversation, it matters a lot. But the phone is trying to cut us away from this. Now we are comfortable. I'm comfortable texting than having a real conversation with someone because that's a different kind of energy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it has also affected us in such a big way. But we just have to find the balance. Maybe you reduce on your screen time. But it's like we are constantly. To be honest, I'm trying to find a way how I can find that balance, but I can't find it.
But for your case, I really understand.
Yeah.
The problem that we might be having with social media is if you're not earning from it.
Exactly.
That is where it becomes a big prison.
Yeah, it is. And that's why I also think that maybe the people who make these apps are quite unfair because like right now, African people they have nice content. But these people, the ones that we see on Instagram in the Western countries, they get paid. Even Instagram, like when you post, you get paid. But right here, we are trying to unlock that. But every time I try, they are like,
it's not yet ready in your
area, it's not yet ready. You know what I mean? And people are trying to turn this into their lives. Some people, for them, they are working home, and everyone wants that. People are starting to do all of these, like they just stay in their house and they get paid. And I'm wondering why is that we are putting it, data is expensive here, but we are still sacrificing a lot. Even me, I'm trying to think one of the most expenses I have is the internet because my family is the other side. Like I can't do without communicating with them. I have to talk to them on a daily, Here we are talking about a kid who I want to have that connection with, So I have to talk there. I have to use social media, you know what I mean?
Right.
But then I'm giving my everything. I'm putting in money to go shoot these videos, look for outfits. I'm trying to create a platform for myself so I can get better opportunities. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's unfair, and I don't know why they haven't looked because they have all the abilities to do it. You know what I mean? Like they can just say, okay, when you post this, if you have good content, you're going to start earning this much. So I'm wondering like what's the reason why African countries are not, even TikTok itself, we are not being paid here. It's just that if you get lucky and get some endorsements, that's how you can get. But the app itself should be paying you for the services you're doing because you're adding much, like you're keeping people on their app, but you're not you're not earning from it, That is so unfair. That's why some people, because for us, we are like, now I'm a content creator. That's why I will start thinking of going to live in their countries, even when I would have lived like that in my own country, because I don't want to be this person who will be here chasing after visas, having this, I don't like winter itself, but I will be forced to go there because I feel like my life is running around this content creation. But it's too much work in Africa. It's too much work here in Uganda. Internet is expensive. There's a lot that I need. I don't have that money, and I'm a dancer. We don't have those many options, So it's a constant hustle. So that's why you feel like the systems are actually changing us from who we are supposed to be, and you start looking for other ways. But you're going to look for another ways because this is what is paying, but what you love the most, because no one wants to do something that they are not interested in. But if you want to keep with this spirit of going forward, you have to do what you like. But the system and all these things that have been put in our faces don't support that.
When you returned, were you fully recovered?
No. Like when I came back, the whole time I was in there, I was thinking about my family. I was like, you guys, you should release me. I want to go back and be with my family. I start working. Like, that's what I was thinking about. And at this moment, I had nothing. I didn't have a single penny. And when I came back here, you have hit this level and then all of a sudden, boom, you're back at the bottom. So that's how I felt when I came back. I felt like, okay, I've spent this many years building my brand, but it feels like everything has ended now. And that's how it felt like. So it started stressing me again, I had this social withdrawal because I didn't want to talk to people. I didn't want to, I feel like the world has ended for me. You know what I mean? I didn't feel like I was going to have another chance. So when I came back, I still was that person. And now it took me back to smoking again. I relapsed. Yeah, I relapsed. And I got taken to there's a certain hospital in... I also went to Butabika. I explained my situation to the doctor, but he didn't.
You took yourself?
No, I went with my sister. Yeah, so I told them I've been in China, I've been going through this and that. I explained my situation to him, and then he gave me the medicine, but I felt like the medicine wasn't working until a friend of mine who went exactly through the same, but for him he was here. He took me to Mbarara. There is a certain hospital, I think they call it ARC. They have a branch in Naguru. So, but then here, when I went to these people, it's like, you come and talk to these guys, they will help you, because for him, he also understood my situation. In most cases, these conversations, you're supposed to have it with someone who has been through it. Those are the only people that understand you. But when you start drawing away from people will think, I don't know what happened to this guy. Maybe he's proud or he doesn't contact us, but they don't know that you have things running on your head. You're not yourself. So he took me to Mbara, and I met this doctor. I explained to him the medicine he gave me. There's a way it really made me active, When I came back to Kampala, all of a sudden now I want to start going back to the studio. I want to be active, I felt like everything was going on well. But there's one thing he told me, that he's like, I know we have this medicine and all of this, but the best option would be fighting it naturally. So
the doctor told you that?
Yeah.
Kudos to him.
Yeah.
Most times they don't give you that.
They don't give you.
Dependent on them.
No, but this one was the one who was in charge of that rehabilitation center. And I just had a one-day conversation with him. Yeah, so he advised that it's okay to take medicine. But the other person, they work together. They work together with that doctor. It's like, you have to take it, but the best thing is to do it if you can fight it, And I also felt that effect, that when I came back, I was too active, but then I reached a point when I missed taking, so I started studying myself. When I didn't take the medicine, I felt like, why am I feeling like this all of a sudden? So it's like I was starting to get maybe used, it was the trigger, the medicine. If I take the medicine, I'm active. If I don't, and then when I noticed this, I didn't want to be dependent on medicine because I'm a very active person, and I feel like if I stick to that, I don't want to be taking medicine the whole time, Yeah, so, yeah.
How far are we now?
I don't know, I'm just flowing.
You're just flowing?
Yeah, I'm just flowing.
How do you take care of your mental health now?
Good thing is that now I'm aware. Maybe I also used to be that person who never used to think about depression, and with all that we've gone through, It could even be psychological trauma from when I was still a kid. Maybe me losing my mom also affected me, but it's something I wasn't paying attention to. I think here in Africa, we've all grown up with these situations, but we do not know what it is, We don't have the money to go and look for doctors who are going to tell us, when I've assessed you, you're like this and this, you need to do this and this and that. We are just, it's like we are kind of careless with our lives, We just flowing, you're just doing things. When it's a bad day, it's a bad day. You even think, maybe someone bewitched me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but right now I'm aware, and it's not like I've completely healed, because I think it's not a thing that goes just like that, It's a constant struggle. It's not a struggle, but it's you to keep enlightening yourself and in monitoring yourself and having all those
yourself.
Yeah,
it's very important.
Yeah.
You see, when you mentioned that bit where you were looking at yourself and listening to your body, or watching your emotions coming from, hey, when I take the medication, this is how I feel, and when I don't, why am I feeling this? I think these are very important questions that we need to be asking ourselves if we have to understand our emotional world.
Yeah. So right now I'm also trying to stay because I know I always see myself, like there's when I won't want to leave bed, and I'm constantly on the phone, like, oh my God, I'm so addicted to the phone. Like because I'm an active person, like I'm a creative.
Yeah.
So I constantly, when I feel like, okay, today, I was even talking to that with Vero, like this is when days come in, I'm like, I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be inside the house. But nothing is happening, like there's no activities happening. I'm trying to be, like we as creatives, we think in a very different way. And you cannot be settled when you're just sitting there and the only thing you have your phone, there is nothing going on, like it puts you on this pressure.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to keep monitoring myself and, yeah.
What words do you want to leave for someone that has listened into this episode?
Difficult roads often lead to beautiful destinations. I mean, I'm still in a fight, but when I also sit back and look at my journey and all the things that I have overcome, I'm practicing gratitude, like I know we are humans, we want too much. Even when you think like even now I'm telling you I'm living my dream, but I still feel like there's a lot to do, like I'm learning to be patient with myself. So this whole journey, it hasn't been a smooth one, and I'm still going, but I know, like I have that at the back of my head. I'm like, tough times don't last, but tough people do. So I'm trying to be that tough person and keep walking and inspiring, and I know a way will be made, even bigger ways. I mean, I've already achieved most of the things I dreamt about.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm very grateful for you is seeing you back out there. Yeah. You don't know how much joy it feels for me. Because at some point it felt like, no, this can't be the end.
I know, right?
This can't be the end. So seeing you back, you started little, and now I don't know what you feel, but as someone that had been watching you for about 5 years, I feel like you're on the right track.
Yeah, and thank you so much. Thank you. I'm also
know
grateful.
Me, but I'm that person. We are those people in the background.
Yeah, I'm so happy to meet you today. Like, I love dance so much, and like the whole thing was, I also, at the back of my head, I want to be a person to set an example. Like, I want to disapprove the generation I grew up with. Like, even all these people are all surprised at what I've been able to achieve. They see me here and there, and like, what? This guy used to dance here. We thought it was for fun, but I think, I am that person.
How is he traveling?
I'm traveling. Everyone wants to do that. There's people in better positions, but they've not had the opportunities I've had. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like I'm working for fame or anything. It's like I'm just giving out my everything to a craft that I love and believe in so much, and all these other successes build around it, It's not that it's the aim, I want to be famous. No. I'm following my dream, and it has opened all these doors, and I still, like it. That's the motivation that I have. Even now, I'm not saying I'm in a better place. I have a lot to do, but I've been able to connect with different people from different walks of life. Like, at least I'm happy with the circle that I have. I'm thankful every day, and I know I can do better than this, So I'm constantly pushing. It's a constant struggle, but, we have hope in it, and you keep doing your thing,
follow your passion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's people who value our art. Like that's why when I'm making all these tours, these are the people who really pay. Here in Uganda, classes.
Hey, man.
Classes. We are doing classes, but just we use that content to promote outside on the outside platforms.
And it's working.
Yeah, and it's working. It's a very big struggle to be a dancer here, and you're being hard. Because I'm tired of being exploited in music videos. These are avenues that most dancers think of, being in a music video, but they're being exploited. I've been there too, because it's like a thing that musicians don't really want to credit dancers, and we have done so much for their work, but it's like they constantly want to keep you in the background because they know most dancers want fame. Imagine you go to a music video and someone's like, people are going to see you in my video. That's a win for you. Who wants to be famous when they don't have even money to buy Chikomando?
My goodness.
Yeah, actually, this is also like, recently I was seeing a post. There's a dancer from Nigeria. They also started this argument that, like, why are we not crediting dancers when we have all these awards? There is no category for dancers, and we are the ones. People nowadays will love a song because someone did a nice challenge, a nice dance challenge on it.
People are doing dance challenges on TikTok.
On TikTok, exactly. And this is all work of
The
dancers, the choreographers. But then we are constant. No one is listening to us. No one is giving us a platform.
We know the directors. We don't know the dancers.
We don't know the dancers.
I had never noticed that.
You know what I mean? And these are like when you go to work with videographers here, it's like when you reach on set, they are now the dancers, They want to tell you, okay, now you're going to dance on top of a car. I want you to do this and this. Like they are not allowing us to share ideas because I am an artist too and I can add to this because you called me because I do something you can't do. You know what I mean? So you need my services. So when I get there, you let me do things my own way. Maybe there is something I'm looking at because when you give me a song and I'm having a choreography, maybe I'm inspired by something. I'm like, okay, I think we should dance to it like this. We should wear like this. We don't have that voice on set. You'll be there and they'll tell you, okay, now it's time for you to dance. It's time for you to dance. Just go on top of this car and start dancing. Like, who does that, That's why I'm staying away from music videos until these people understand that we also commanding for our value. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they have to really give us that respect because we've done so much. I mean, I really feel so bad and it's not just Uganda, but it's dancers are having challenges. But dance, and people love it, people love it. They don't even know that dance itself can heal someone. You can be going through something, and when you dance this way, you feel good. It takes you out of all these thoughts that have been, on your head and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's a constant struggle, but you won't stop fighting,
You're a fighter.
Yeah.
At least I've seen that.
Yeah. So I think things are going to get better, and we keep doing our own thing because even us dancers now trying to create our own opportunities. Right now, I don't want to depend. I don't even know the last time I was in a music video, but I'm surviving. I have my family. It is okay. I'm trying to look for opportunities here and there. And when you make it out there, that's when they remember, oh, this guy, you know what I mean?
Right. Thank you so much for sharing your time.
Yeah, you're most welcome.
I wish the very best for you in 2023.
Thank you so much.
I'm hopeful.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
There's a lot more that's going to come.
Yeah. I am, I'm also, I'm keeping my head up, I know everything is going to be okay. Like I said, tough times don't last, but tough people do.
Thank you so much. I swear.
Yeah, that's how much I believe in what I do. So thank you so much for having me. It's been a great conversation, and I think we will have more of this. We need this. We need to create awareness. And thank you for creating this. I hope it speaks to someone out there who's probably going through the things I went through or who's even going through worse, Yeah, I hope it can help them.
From this episode, my take home is to constantly listen to my body. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of #InLoveWithEachOne. If you love what you heard, make sure you subscribe to hashtag with Nabguzi Chwanka on any podcast platform of your choice and share it with your friends, loved ones, and everyone that you believe is affected by the millennial world around us. Also, feel free to share your insights about what connected with you on social media with the hashtag HTNK in section or tag us. We are at hashtag with Nabguzi Chwanka on Facebook and Instagram, and on Twitter our handle is at HTNK Podcast. Catch you in the next episode, and until then, I hope that you will be monitoring yourself. Ciao.